Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, my other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. And make sure you drop some comments below to let us know your thoughts.
Today we are talking big moves in the sports broadcasting world. A deal has been struck. Well, it's about to be struck. I think it's right on the goal line between Fox and Barstool Sports. So we have some of the details here for you. Let me just pull this up here. Barstool Sports Big Noon Kickoff. So some of the details here. Dave Portnoy and Big Cat would be on Big Noon Kickoff. Really big deal for college football fans. Barstool will be featured on coverage of college basketball plus other properties throughout Fox. Barstool would also be creating unique contact with a new daily studio show on FS1. I believe that's a 2-hour program Monday through Friday. So how are you feeling about this?
Honestly, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. And I know that you had compared it to what Pat McAfee does with ESPN, and I think that's a good likeness to it. Although it's going to be drastically different from what Barstool and Fox have in mind. And so essentially what Barstool and Fox are doing is Barstool already has a college football show. They do it every week, and they do, I believe, like 6 or 7 on location Saturdays where they go to specific colleges. Now with that, they're actually going to go and have Barstool is still going to have a college football show, and they are going to be in conjunction with Big Noon Kickoff. So they are going to travel with Big Noon on the shows that they do travel with, and then Dave Portnoy and Big Cat will be included into the Big Noon broadcast. So almost simultaneously, side by side, doing their own Barstool content while also doing Fox content. They are also going to be doing, as you said, a 2-hour daily show Monday through Friday. That is going to take place in the Chicago office. And I think I'm under the assumption that it is going to be a brand new show. And I know it's going to be rotating cast members each day. Uh, PFT commenter and Big Cat have already said that they will not be on it together. They do not want it to turn into Pardon My Take Part 2 because they don't want to take away from their own podcast. They want it to stand alone and be its own separate thing. This
Yeah, and
spells.
like PMT is like the breadwinner for them.
Yes, Pardon My Take is the biggest sports podcast that Barstool Sports has. It's one of the bigger sports podcasts in the nation right now, and they don't want to kind of be cannibalizing themselves by doing a daily show and then also doing their episodes 3 days a week. It's very interesting to me to see that this is kind of the landscape, because over the last few years, you've started to see like people turn and be like, Big Noon sucks. Big Noon it is not good. I'm interested to see how not only are they marrying the two shows every Saturday, but now they're trying to intertwine Barstool Sports and get this fan that has turned away from traditional TV back into the fold.
Yeah, and that's just, I think, where our sports commentating is moving as a fan base in general. Like, I I know people talk about it like the nostalgia of ESPN. I used to have ESPN on when I was like a teenager, 24/7. I'd watch all the shows, and then I'd watch highlights, and it feels like, well, there's never highlights. That's for one. And it feels like they've just leaned into this debate Stephen A. Smith kind of realm, and I hate ESPN now. Like, I do not want to watch what I've seen this thing morph into. And Fox kind of had, like, okay, Shannon Sharp was entertaining, FS1, but they're just they're having trouble producing interesting personalities. I think that's their main issue. Like, who's the draw? Like Nick Wright, Colin Coward, and then there's everybody else. So I think bringing in personalities and letting them have a hand in producing their own show, bringing in that new crop of fans, maybe they stick around and you could get their eyes on some of your other products. But I think this is great for them.
Yeah, I think that, again, you have people that already have a very large audience, and now you're telling them, we care about you, And I think so. Before, ESPN almost had a deal with Barstool, where they were going to have the Part of My Take guys do a show on ESPN. They ended up pulling the plug because they were like, hey, we can't, it's too risky to be associated with you. And they said the main difference between them doing that with ESPN and them now doing it with Fox is that Fox wants them to be themselves on camera. They want them to be the brand that they have been in the past and continue to be that brand and be unapologetic with it. Like, hey, we are ourselves. We'd like to have fun. We'd like to talk about sports. This is who we are. I think it spells the fact that they had to do something dramatic to get ratings back. I think traditional TV, everyone talks about it. Really, you just see the clip. Well, me personally, I don't have cable anymore. So I just see certain clips when they pop up on my timeline, whether it be YouTube or whether it be TikTok, things like that. But I'm not watching TV. Honestly, something like that, I'm like, okay, I'm interested. Maybe I would go check it out. But at least it gets the wheels turning of, okay, well, at least Fox has something that we know ESPN doesn't, which is personalities that we've already know and love.
Yeah, and I feel like there was this era where they kind of like the corporations like ESPN, Fox thought they were being cool in trying to get these like unique personalities in there. Like Katie Nolan's a great example. Like really great online internet personality, and they just couldn't get her to be what they wanted her to be, like to become a big name for them. But now that she's back kind of on the internet, like what she's doing with casuals and like her kind of style, it's working really well on the internet. It's working well
Yeah.
on YouTube and things like that. So they've tried, but they just don't trust the talent that they're bringing in to do what they do. They want them to conform. And so I think we're getting into that area, hopefully, where it's like, hey, you do this really well, come and do it for us. Because you know what
Yeah.
I've told you what I want. I want YouTubers to get hired by these big companies to do their show on a bigger scale. I said, give me Brett Coleman his own show on ESPN or something like that where he can take it on a bigger scale. Have editors, have a whole production team, which I'm sure he does at this point. I don't know, but make it bigger, make it a full on production, things like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I just think that they are too afraid to go against the grain. And then what does that tell their homegrown talent that they are grooming to be on camera? It tells them we don't care, we don't trust you. So I think that we are seeing that with ESPN, with McAfee and everybody else. People are mad when they do layoffs and they're like, oh, but Pat McAfee could still get X amount of dollars. And it's like, well, Pat McAfee brings in the ratings. You guys don't. So that's why you're
Yeah.
cut. Like, you know what I mean? But again, if you already have you've built up your brand and you already have your own audience coming into it, and on top of that, you know ball. I mean, realistically, this is a different Barstool than what people think about in the past. They've hired people like John Gruden. They have guys that played D1 football. They have guys that played D1 college basketball. So they have guys that know ball.
I think it's not even just the sports thing. Also, it's like, okay, we're getting mad at McAfee. He's not just the football guy. Like, he's the wrestling guy too. And you got to think that audience is huge. And if you look at it from Barstool's angle, they're not just sports. They have like all kinds of random shows, and not like least of which is the one bite pizza reviews that Dave does, and like those get massive views. And so like they have more things to pull from.
Yeah, again, let's make it fun again. Let's get creative. Let's figure it out because I am tired of debate style shows. I'm tired of I take this stance, I yell at you, you say I'm wrong, and you yell at me back. That's that. All right, call it a day.
Let's bring back a good time in sports. Can we
Yeah,
just
let's
have
have
fun?
fun.
Can we just have fun?
Please,
That's kind of
please,
what this
please.
feels about. The president says no, but
Don't even.
all right. That's all we got for this one. Anything else?
Nope. Be sure to check out our website. It'll be linked in the description, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Later.